The action is on the air. The Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton is in the house and getting ready to come to you. We are so pleased that you are with us on this Saturday morning, because if it's Saturday and you hear the cry of no justice, no peace, you know this is where the action is. Our president and founder is the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. Chairman of our board is the Reverend Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, senior pastor of Grace Baptist Church. I'm Attorney Michael Hardy. We'll be with you throughout the broadcast this morning. We are so pleased to have with us today for our inspirational word segment, the Bishop Robert Vincent Butler II. He's the senior pastor of the Glory Church in the great borough of Brooklyn. Of course, if it's Saturday, our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson, is in the house along with the Change Choir and the band ensemble. And if it's Saturday, our dear sister Nancy Darlene Crawford is going to want to know what's on your mind. That's right, you got it. She wants to know what you're thinking about because, frankly, there's so much going on around the world, around the nation, probably all around your own household, that there must be something that you want to share with Nancy and tell her what's on your mind. If you've not had an opportunity to do so and you're not here, you can still do so. You can call 877-626-4651, or you can email what's on your mind to nationalactionnetwork.net and let her know with us. But we're here in the 106 West 145th Street. The Reverend Doctor is in the house, so call somebody. Tell them the action is on the air. The Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton is in the house and getting ready to come to you. Brothers and sisters, we always remind you that the NAN Youth Huddle will meet on Monday, February 5th, right here at the House of Justice Auditorium. The huddle is there every Monday, and we'll look forward to having you be with them on this Monday coming February 5th. You want to make sure that you spread the word and get into the action with our youngest and brightest dreamers of today and leaders of tomorrow. For more information on the Youth Huddle experience, you can call 877-626-4651 or email nanyouthhuddle@gmail.com. Also, you want to make sure today, Saturday at 5 p.m., tomorrow, Sunday at 5 p.m., you want to make sure that you're tuning in to MSNBC's Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. That's today, Saturday, 5 p.m., tomorrow, Sunday, 5 p.m., you want to make sure that you're tuning in to MSNBC's Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. Right now, brothers and sisters, Dr. Alvin Ponder is with us. He's the vice president of the New York City chapter, and he's going to come and give you some additional information. Let's welcome him.
Thank you, Attorney Hardy. Good morning, brothers and sisters, listeners and viewers, and thank you for tuning in to another Saturday Action Rally with the National Action Network. Here's some information to keep you in the know. 18 years of keeping it real. On January 30th, Reverend Sharpton celebrated 18 years of his nationally syndicated radio show, Keeping It Real. For 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, he discusses pertinent issues and concerns of the community, as well as diligently listens to callers from around the country and around the world. National Action Network commends Reverend Sharpton, for his continued dedication to black radio and listeners everywhere. For 18 years, Keeping It Real has served as the premier spot for elected officials, celebrities, civil rights advocates, community leaders, thinkers, artists, and everyone in between, all stop by and participate in an engaging conversation with the Reverend. Presidents Obama and Biden, congressional and Senate leaders, actors, athletes, singers, activists, youth leaders, and many others have all made an appearance on the broadcast. Reverend Sharpton thanked Dr. Kathy Hughes for creating and financing the show, Alfred Liggins for energizing and continuing the program, and Phaeton Muhammad, who has been the senior producer for all 18 years. Be sure to catch the broadcast daily and listen as Reverend Sharpton keeps it real. Protesting to protect DEI. Reverend Sharpton and the National Action Network once again marched outside the offices of hedge fund billionaire Bill Ackman on Thursday. The weekly demonstrations against Ackman's assault on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as his attacks against former Harvard President Claudine Gay, have gained the support of a broad coalition of folks. This was the 5th week in a row that they have protested in front of Ackman's Manhattan office. Last week, Reverend Sharpton and NAN were joined by Arian Simone, the CEO of the Fearless Fund and founder of the Fearless Foundation. Previous demonstrations included support from 100 Black Men of America, as well as New York City Comptroller Brad Ladner, who is Jewish, and joined NAN's protest in a show of solidarity. Every Thursday, at 54th and 11th Avenue, at noon, NAN convenes a group to picket outside of Ackman's office in an effort to I want to see you this 34th and 11th Avenue. No justice. NAN's 2024 convention. Reverend Sharpton and the National Action Network team are busy prepping for this year's annual national convention, held once again at the New York Sheraton Times Square Hotel. NAN's massive gathering will take place from April 10th through 13th, the 10th through the 13th, convening clergy, convening elected officials, celebrities, activists, thinkers, movers, shakers. NAN's convention will bring together thousands over the course of several days to organize and strategize for the year ahead. Each year, NAN presents panels, plenary sessions, a women's empowerment luncheon, a wonderful awards dinner, a minister's luncheon, and so much more to the thousands in attendance. Everyone from the President of the United States and the Vice President to congressional leaders and Senate representatives to New York City and state elected officials and many others have addressed the convention. Whether it's voting rights, preserving DEI and affirmative action measures, reproductive justice, police reform, health equity, or the many other civil rights challenges of our time, NAN's convention will be a moment to tackle these most pressing issues and so much more during this pivotal election year and with modern attacks against civil rights and progress. NAN's annual conference will be essential in the ongoing fight for equality and justice. People from around the country and from overseas will gather once again with NAN this April as we collectively renew our spirits, organize, and prepare for the battles ahead. Details about the annual convention, including speakers and a breakdown of the program, will be updated at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And be sure to check back regularly and register now to attend NAN's 2024 convention. It's free, and anyone who you don't want to miss it. Don't forget to register. Tomorrow, February 4th marks 25 years since the tragic mass police shooting of Amadou Diallo. In the early hours of February 4th, 1999, an unarmed 23-year-old Guinean student named Amadou Diallo was fired upon with 41 rounds and shot a total of 19 times by 4 New York City Police Department plainclothes officers. Reverend Sharpton, the NAN, stood by his family to ensure that Amadou had a proper burial and embarked in outrage to fight for the arrest of the 4 officers involved in the shooting. Amadou's mother will be joining us here at the Saturday Action Rally today, and will be hosting a vigil today at 5 p.m. at the place where Amadou's life was taken 25 years ago. All are invited to join the family at 1177 Wheeler Avenue, 1177 Wheeler Avenue in the Bronx at 6 p.m. today. Welcome to all of you who have tuned in and joined us also via live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net and also live on Facebook at National Action Network. If this is your first time joining us, or if you're not a member of NAN, we welcome you to NAN and invite you to join us and get into the action today. For more information and to join, you may visit again www.nationalactionnetwork.net or just call 877-626-4651. Again, that number is 877-626-4651. And just text the word NAN, N-A-N, to 59769. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Ponda. Our dear sister Nancy Darlene Crawford wants to know what's on your mind. Good morning,
family, and welcome to another weekly segment of What's on Your Mind, where you, the community and membership base, share with us your thoughts and viewpoints. And if you're not here in the House of Justice and you would like to share with us, you still have time to do so. Email your mind at nationalactionnetwork.net, or you may call us directly at 877-626-4651. I'm just going to tiptoe next to all of our members that are standing here and would like to share with us what's on their mind. And we're going to start with our own Mother Ivy, as she has some thoughts she would like to share.
Good morning, Nan, my precious children. This is Mother Ivy. You guys don't realize that Mother Lamb and Mother Nixon left some big shoes for me to fill. I hope that I can fill them, but right now, Mother don't feel like I can do that. My heart is so heavy. I feel like Billy Eckstein when he said, I'm hurt much more than you'll ever know. Thank you guys so much for attending my brother's funeral. Continue to keep me in your prayers and continue to hold me up, because the tears are flowing. I guess I must have cried or yet cried a river of tears. But I think about what Donnie McKirkland said. He said that our tears is liquid prayer. Well, I guess I done cried a river of liquid prayers because the tears are yet coming. Anyway, I'm heavy. Y'all, continue to pray for me.
Yes, thank you so much, Mother Ivy. We are continually praying for you and your family. And we're going to tiptoe back up to the front, and we have a long line here today. So we're going to ask you your name, tell us where you're from, and briefly share with us what's on your mind.
Hi, my name is Ronald Long. I spent 37 years in New Jersey prison innocent, including 5 years on death row. I filed a CRU petition, Conviction Review Unit, got rid of the director because she wasn't doing anything. In the 4 years since its existence, they only exonerated 2 people. I've been sending many letters to Attorney Hardy over the years. He wrote me back too. This is my first time to speak, and I would like to get a chance to get NAN involved in my case.
Okay, thank you so much.
600. innocent people that are locked up. 600 in New Jersey.
Wow, thank you, my brother. Thank you for sharing. Good morning. Tell us your name, where you're from, and briefly share what's on your mind.
Good morning. My name is Kazembe, Great Awakening to the NAN family. What's on my mind is anti-blackness. 25 years ago, Amadou Diallo was murdered, and we acknowledged that this weekend. I was arrested. I've heeded Reverend Sharpton's call and was arrested at one police plaza 25 years ago. We salute his mother and how she came to this country and led the movement. But today, we must also stand with Cori Bush. She stood up for Mike Brown in the Midwest, and now her security, the fact that she has to protect herself, is being threatened by right-wing congressmen. We must also stand up for Ihan Omar, a Somali American. She has the right to speak for Somalia, just as others speak for Israel in the context of their well-being. I say that we must stay on point with these billionaires who own platforms that we use like LinkedIn and X, and they use their money to undermine progressive black politics. They are actively doing that, and we must stand firm. So in conclusion, I want to say that the greatest threat to not only African people, but to Jewish people, to Latinos, is not the so-called progressive left, but it is the fascist right. The fascist right is the enemy of anything good, and we need our allies to acknowledge that and speak to that.
Okay, thank you, my brother. Thank you so much for sharing. Good morning. Tell us your name, where you're from, and what's on your mind.
Good morning, Nan. My name is Dr. Jesse Fields. I'm a medical doctor here in the Harlem community, and what's on my mind this morning is to thank you, Sister Nancy Darlene Crawford, and the National Action Network for this segment, What's on Your Mind, giving people the opportunity to speak, allowing for diverse views, feelings to be expressed. This is so very for now, Sharpton. Third day of Black History Month, and every day, let us be the legacy of our leaders. Let us recognize those who gave so much but are no longer here by what we who are here do, having the benefit of what they did. And may I add, let's include Black Americans' contributions in the fields of medicine and mental health. And I want to recognize Dr. Lenore Fulani, a developmental psychologist who also co-founded the All-Stars Project, a national pioneer in after-school youth programs. Thank you. And I invite you to attend a commemoration of the groundbreaking work of Drs. Kenneth and Mamie Clark, whose doll study provided invaluable evidence in favor of ending school segregation in the Supreme Court case Brown versus Board of Education. The event is We Can't Breathe, the state of our mental health in the midst of pandemic recovery, COVID, and the 2024 election. I will be on the panel of mental health professionals reporting back from the field. It's being held on Sunday, February 18th at 12 noon at St. Philip's Church, 204 West 134th Street. Thank you. No justice, no peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And to all of you that contributed today, we thank you. We apologize. That's why I asked you briefly share what's on your mind so that everyone can have the opportunity to speak, okay? That concludes this weekend's conversation of what's on your mind. Please keep in mind all of the thoughts and viewpoints you heard were simply those of the contributors and do not reflect those of National Action Network. And if you would like to share with us what's on your mind, please do so. You have the opportunity to do it 24 hours a day by emailing us at whatsonyyourmind@nationalactionnetwork.net or by calling 877-626-4651. Back to you, Attorney Hardy.
All right. Thank you, Nancy, for this week's What's on Your Mind. And, you know, I'm going to add a little bit of mine because Sister Tisha Hunter, the soloist Change Choir.
You brought me through. Out of nowhere. And Lord, I'm grateful to you. And you know what he did? Listen, he's opened doors that was closed in my face. Hey, and Lord, I'm grateful to you. Everybody say, you brought me through this. Hey, you brought me through this. Oh, I'm so grateful to you. Oh, you brought me through this. Anybody grateful? You brought me through that. Oh. One more time. Oh, you made a way out of no way. And Lord, I'm so grateful to you. Listen, you opened doors that was closed in my face. Hey, and Lord, I'm so grateful. Oh, you brought me through. Oh, you brought me through that. Lord, I'm grateful. If you're grateful, lift your hands and say, yes, I am. You brought me through this. Lord, I'm so grateful. Lord, I'm so grateful. Lord, I'm grateful.
That is Tisha Hunter, our NAN Change Choir solo. It's all under the direction of our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson, and accompanied by the Change Band and Ensemble. Right now, brothers and sisters, it is time to bring us in the house. And bringing us in the house this morning is the Reverend Dr. Malcolm Byrd. He's the Chief Operating Officer of the National Action Network, also the senior pastor of the historic Mother Amy Zion Church. So he's going to tell us and bring us in the house, and we're going to get some words from Reverend Byrd.
Thank you so very much, Attorney Hardy. Good morning, National Action Network. Can I tell you something? Lord, I am grateful. Isn't God good? Didn't God wake you up this morning and start you on your way? Are you grateful? Put your hands together if you're seated here in the house of justice, just to say, Lord, I'm grateful for all you've done for me. National Action Network, I have a few announcements to share with you, and I want you to listen up. Whether you're seated here in the House of Justice, whether you're listening on radio, or whether you are watching on the various social media platforms. NAN Convention 2024 is on the horizon. And we are excited about our NAN 2024 convention. This convention will undoubtedly be the biggest convention in NAN's history. But in order to ensure that it is the biggest and the baddest and the boldest NAN convention, we need your help. Help us help you. Go on right now. If you have a smartphone, if you're near an iPad or a computer, go on right now to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and sign up right now and register for our NAN 2024 convention. There is a lot happening in our country, and all eyes will be on the NAN Convention 2024, April 10th through the 13th. That's April 10th through the 13th at the New York Sheraton Hotel in Midtown Manhattan. Are you going to be at the NAN Convention this year? Are you going to invite someone to the NAN Convention this year? Are you going to go on and register today for the NAN Convention this year? You don't want to miss it. And secondly, for the entire month of January and now beginning in the month of February, our fearless leader, the founder and president of the National Action Network, the Reverend Al Sharpton, has led our organization in conducting a picket every Thursday at 12 noon at 787 11th Avenue here in Manhattan in front of the office of billionaire Bill Ackman, a fierce opponent of DEI advancement for minorities in this country. NAN has showed up every Thursday, and in NAN spirit, NAN has showed out every Thursday. Give yourselves a hand for showing up and being counted and demanding that DEI not shift away and not drift away, but we are determined as an organization and as a people to keep DEI strategy in the media, and we need your continued support to do it. We're going to be out there every Thursday until we don't need to be out there every Thursday. We're not just out there for us. We're out there for grandchildren. We're out there for nieces and nephews. We're out there for children. When DEI is under attack, what do? When DEI is under attack, what do? We need you to be there with us this coming Thursday as we, as the National Action Network, stands up and fights back.
I want to thank Dr. Reverend Byrd for bringing us in the house this morning. Right now, brothers and sisters, the Change Ensemble.
I really love you. I really love you because you first loved me. I really love you, yes I do. Say I really love you. I really love you because you first loved me. I really love you. I really love you. Yes, I do. I really love you. With all of my heart, Jesus. I really love you. With all my soul. Because you first loved me. I really love you. I really love you. Yes, I do. Listen. How can you love me knowing all the things I've done? And then you show me when you gave your only son. I really love
That is a change ensemble under the direction of our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson. Brothers and sisters, 25 years ago, there was a young man named Amadou Diallo who was gunned down in a hail of 41 bullets by the New York City Police Department. His fight for justice sparked a movement, and his mother came to this country to stand up for him. And we are 25 years ago now, and she's still standing, still fighting. We want to honor and represent and bring to the microphone the mother of Amadou Diallo, Kadiatou Diallo.
Greetings, sisters and brothers. It is now a quarter of a century since Amadou's dream was cut short by the NYPD's bullet, 41 shots. I crossed the ocean then and I joined you all and demanded justice for Amadou. You, as a community, rallied around me and my family. Michael Hardy, thank you. Reverend Sharpton, thank you. Kathy Jordan Sharpton, thank you. Dominic, Ashley, the NAN community, thank you. The journey started then, and I traveled the road. It was difficult, but because of your support and your prayers, it sustained me and my family. Thank you, I'm grateful. I wanted to come visit NAN today because this afternoon at 5 p.m., we and the community are going to Willa Avenue. We will stop at the mural and right at the corner where he's dedicated the street name, Amadou Diallo Place. We'll go there today with young and old, women and men, to honor the memory of Amadou, to walk through that lane from 1177, where the mural is, to 1157, where my son lived and died. That's the place I came when I landed in New York. That's the place I collapsed. That's the place I wept and I called his name. To lift him up, dust him, and give him back his story was my journey. And we created the Amadou Diallo Foundation. Reverend Sharpton steadfastly supported us. The legacy lives on, the legacy endured. But it wasn't easy. We established the Amadou Diallo scholarship program. Young people benefited through the scholarship because Amadou's last words to me when we spoke on the phone was, "Mom, I'm going to college. I saved enough money, I'm going to pay my way to college." So now is the legacy. The school, the little school I established in Guinea is the legacy of Amadou. The scholarship program here, the foundation, is the legacy. We're growing older, but I want for generations to come to remember who Amadou was. So I thank you for your continued prayers, your continued support. And I want to end up with saying to you, I was not by myself in this journey. Gwen Carr is here. This evening, I'm going to stand with Gwen, my sister in the struggle, and Sean Bell's mom, Valerie, and Mrs. Baez, Anthony Baez's mom, Malcolm, Ramale Graham. All these mothers will be coming, and we will stand together because after the lights and cameras, we still talk, we still network, and we still uplift each other, not just New York, but across the country. So it's a club that we don't want no one to join, but it's growing. And we want to continue to work through this movement of NAN and other organizations, continue to advocate and raise awareness for equal justice, for racial equity, and for healing, more importantly, for healing. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. And I thank Reverend Sharpton seriously from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
All right. We appreciate you, Kadiatou Diallo, the mother of Amadou Diallo. We thank you for being with us this morning on 25 years of remembering what happened. Right now, brothers and sisters, it is our pleasure and honor to have for our inspirational word segment today, the Bishop Robert Vincent Butler II. He is the pastor of the Glory Church in the great borough of Brooklyn. Let's welcome.
Good morning, everyone. We thank the Lord on today, for this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. I would like to thank you for joining us on today. We give God praise for our president and founder, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. You can do better than that. As well as our chairman of the board, Dr. W. Franklin Richardson. Come on, let's clap our hands for them. And for this strong, courageous woman behind me, the mother of Amadou Diallo. Let's give God praise for her. I bring to you this morning just a short scripture, a portion of a scripture in 1 Timothy 6:12, where it says, fight the good fight of faith. Look at somebody and tell them you got to keep fighting. And I want to talk to you from the subject, we still have some fight in us. My brothers and sisters, since the inception of this great organization in 1991, the National Action Network has been charged to promote a modern civil rights agenda that includes the fight for one standard of justice, decency, and equal opportunities for all people, regardless of race, religion, nationality, or gender. Does it sound familiar? Through the years, this great body of fighters have marched by way of activism, advocacy, to address issues such as police misconduct, voter rights suppression, poverty, and discrimination. For 33 years, the same amount of years that Jesus walked on this earth, the National Action Network has continued to focus on the protection and expansion of civil rights. The National Action Network continues to seek community empowerment, fighting to ensure that all individuals have the opportunity to reach their full potential in a fair and just society. Does it sound familiar? Just look over at your neighbor and say, neighbor, we still got some fight in us. No, it hasn't been easy, and I'm almost done. It hasn't been a walk in the park. As a matter of fact, it's been a hard-fought uphill journey. Tell somebody it's been a fight. As a matter of fact, we have been in the fight of our lives since the beginning of time. We've been fighting just because of the color of our skin. Fighting because of where we live, and fighting to live where we could not afford to live. It has been filled with some challenges, some victories, some disappointments, and even some setbacks. But we have continued to echo the words of the great James Cleveland, who said, I don't feel no ways tired. I've come too far from where I've started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, but I don't believe he brought us this far to leave us. I dare you to shake somebody's hand and tell him he hasn't left us. The lyrics of that song give us an assurance that while we are in the fight, we have a commander and chief who has never left us. He promised to never leave us nor to forsake us. He told Joshua, as I was with Moses, so shall I be with you. He told Isaiah, so don't fear, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, I am your God. David said, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. I need you to point at somebody and tell them we still got some fight in us. This gives us the confidence of knowing that no weapon that is formed against us will ever be able to prosper. Shake somebody by the hand and tell them no weapon. I still got some fight in me. I don't hear nobody in here. Look at somebody else and tell them I still got some fight in me. I've had to cry, but I still got some fight in me. I've had to get beat down, but I still got some fight in me. I've been tossed and driven. I've been broken, but I still got some fight in me. What are we fighting for? We fighting for our children. We fighting for our schools. We fighting for our neighborhoods. We're fighting for justice, and we will forever scream, we shall overcome. And if there is no justice, there will be no peace, because we still got some fight in us. Give God a praise and shout glory.
That was Bishop Robert Vincent Butler, the second senior pastor of the Glory Church in the great borough of Brooklyn, the Change Choir.
He won't be up this morning, starting me
blessing me right now. The Lord is 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 blessing me right now.
The Change Choir.
Yes, Lord.
Brothers and sisters,
The Lord is blessing.
I want you to get on your feet because we are bringing to you right now the president and founder of the National Action Network, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. 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 Fist bump the person next to you. Tell them you love them. 1619, we were brought here to be unpaid servants of a new world, they called it. We were enslaved, made to work with no wages. The two largest docks that we were brought to was in Charleston, South Carolina, and in New York City. In Charleston, South Carolina today, black folks will be deciding on who wins the presidential primary. In New York City today, where we as slaves built a wall to protect the Dutch from the Native Americans, we can be the deciding factor of where this country goes. As the inspirational speaker said this morning, it's been a long struggle. But if you know where you're at and don't live in the past and don't let the wounds of the past make you doubt the power of your presence, and stand up and embrace and be a real example and conduit of that power, your change will come.
Your change will come. Your change. Just keep on fighting. Your change. I know it will. Your change. Oh, change will.
It was said that many people have, throughout our history, this is Black History Month, started February 1st. It started as Black History Day, then went to Black History Week. Now it's Black History Month. But I don't need to be confined to just 1 month. I get up every day trying to make some new Black history. And if you stand up knowing that history is not made just from those that study history, but those that make some new history, and having the strength and knowledge of where we come from and how we got here is the same strength we'll need and use to go forward, and our change will come.
Your change will come. Your change. Don't you give up. Your change. Just hang on in there. Your change. Oh, change will. Oh, change will. Oh, your change will come. Your change. Just keep the fight. Your change. Yes, you will. Your change. Ah, your change will come. Your change. Oh, change will.
National Action Network Change Choir, give them a big hand. Give them a big hand. Sunday, we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning for the Saturday Action Rally. For you that are here live at the House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street in the village of Harlem. And for you that are listening live on 1190 WLIB AM in New York, and for you that are watching on various media platforms around the country, we are happy to be with you another Saturday morning to give our report on where the action is. Give a hand to our presider, Attorney Michael Hardy. Our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson. And give our inspirational speaker, Bishop Robert Vincent Butler II. And Bishop Butler gave us a great word, and we appreciate his being with us, and certainly he pastors Glory Church in Brooklyn, and yeah, all right. I'm not taking attendance, Brooklyn. But we're glad that he's here, a son of my friend Bishop Figueroa. Let me say by way of announcements that we are very, very, very indebted to those that have sacrificed and been out on the picket line every Thursday. 5 weeks straight. And I am proud, Reverend Minister Ron, stand up, McHenry. Brother Christian, stand up, all of y'all. And let me tell you, every Thursday, for you that don't know, at 12 noon, we go in front of Bill Ackman's office, who is one of them that led the fight to remove the president of Harvard, the first black and the first black woman, saying her name was Claudine Gay. And they removed her saying all kinds of things. And then he pivoted from there and said, well, I'm really thinking she was a DEI hire, and we need to end DEI. And they've been now going in certain states, getting DEI to be outlawed by certain attorney generals. That's when we said we're going to target him. And as Reverend Byrd said this morning, that we've been keeping the media attention on him. And let me tell you where it's impact. They had the election, I was reading this morning, of new board members for Harvard. And the ones that he is supporting lost in the election. And we're going to keep that going because we are, everybody that does business with them, everyone that is involved with them, we're going to tell them you're doing business with someone that is an enemy to diversity, equity, and inclusion. We cannot let folks fight us that we are not fighting back. I tell y'all every so often about one of my mentors told me about when I was very young, getting started in activism. He told me, let me give you a parable that you'll understand. I said, what's that? He said, you don't go hunting, do you, Al? I said, no, I don't hunt. He said, well, I'm a hunter. He said, and you know, a lot of people love to go rabbit hunting. I said, okay. He said, and more people where I go to the lodge go rabbit hunting than bear hunting. I said, okay. He said, can you understand why? I said, no, I'm not a hunter. Why is that? He said, well, if you go rabbit hunting, all you got to do is go with your whatever arms you're using, and you go out in the bushes and the rabbits run, and you start shooting at the rabbits as they run up in the bush. He said, And if you go bear hunting, you got another arm. He said, but the problem is that if you shoot at the rabbit's running, you hit him and chase him and hit him until you finally take him down. He said, but the bear, you got one shot. And if you miss that shot, you might be the bear's lunch. I said, oh, I get that if I go rabbit hunting or hunting again. He said, but the parable I want you to know of activism is rabbit hunting wouldn't be fun if the rabbit had a gun. If the rabbit laid up in them bushes and started firing back, more folk would stop rabbit hunting too. So we're determined, Brother Ron, Brother Christian, and all of us, that ain't no rabbit hunting going down on DEI. They took Dr. Claudine Gay down and they thought we was going to start running, and we did, right to 11th Avenue and 54th Street every Thursday, because we come out of that tradition and we want to continue that. I made 3 of them myself. I was out of town Thursday, but I'll be there this Thursday. So all of you that are listening, meet us at 787 11th Avenue near West 54th Street, 12 noon on this coming Thursday. We do it an hour. Make sure you're there. Let me say that I want to welcome our viewers on Impact TV from all over the country. Give them a hand, our Impact family. We are certainly giving our condolences to the family of Joe Madison. Joe Madison, the Black Eagle, legendary radio announcer, activist. I remember Joe Madison when he was the head of the voter registration and voter mobilization for the NAACP. And then he went on into radio. And many years ago, when we had dealt with the question of Sudan, slavery in the Sudan, it was Joe Madison that went and raised that issue. And ultimately, I went in 1994 to Sudan to deal with the slavery in Sudan. And I mentioned him in my speech when I ran for president at 2004 Democratic Convention. There's no one that has been stronger, longer, and more on point. He was the voice of our community. Give a big hand to Brother Joe Madison. Come on, Joe Madison. Also, I went yesterday to Philadelphia to do the eulogy over the casket of our beloved sister, the former Pennsylvania chairman of National Action Network's chapter, our own sister Paula Peoples. Paula Peoples passed, and I went and saw her family and did the eulogy on yesterday. The mayor and many of the elected officials were there to help us send her home. Many of you that have been in NAN a long time know Paula Peoples built. The story was, and they reminded me of that, telling it at the funeral with the mayor. In fact, they have a new black woman that's mayor of Philly that said she wouldn't have been the mayor if it wasn't for Paula, who worked with her and others in the council, Malcolm Kadiatou, who's a state senator. And one of the things that was of interest to me is that one man got up and said that Paula Peoples saw on the news that there had been these 6 boys that had been grabbed and arrested in Gina, Louisiana, in 2006, and that I had called for a march in Gina. What had happened is that some students at the local high school, white students and black students, Terrence Floyd, had gotten a fight, and they arrested the black students. The fight was over some white students had hung a noose on a tree right in front of the school. And the black students said, "You can't do that, that's threatening our lives, that's going back to slavery," and they got in a fight. They didn't arrest none of the white students. They arrested the black students, 6 of them, and suspended them from school. And we said, first of all, it was a fight. They should have been arrested on both sides. And secondly, you can't suspend them. And I went, called a march, Michael Baisden and I got on radio, and we got 10,000 people to go to Gina. Paula Peoples didn't even know us then, said that Rev Mal is right, and organized 12 buses from Philly to go them 29 hours from Philly to Gina, Louisiana. And that's how she met us. And when she came back, she started the Philadelphia chapter of National Action Network and was with us until she passed. I love people that join the movement when there is a movement. And they don't join because they're getting ready to run for something. You know, some folk join one Saturday and 2 weeks later running for the assembly and want me to endorse them. I do my hair, I don't do my head. Ain't nothing wrong with me. You walk in the door for an endorsement, I'm going to join. Well, you should have been here for the struggles. And she was one for the struggle. And we will never forget her and never let her memory be something in a past tense. Give a big hand to Paula Peoples. Talking about struggles, as you heard this morning, both from Kazembe Batts doing What's on Your Mind, and from our queen, 25 years ago was the police killing of Amadou Diallo. And I will never forget when I heard about it, we went to Wheeler Avenue where they're going to have a memorial today. And we went to Wheeler Avenue, about 1,000 people had gathered right away. And I met a young man there that day that was going to be the assemblyman. And he and I addressed the crowd, named Ruben Diaz, who later became borough president and who is now a member of the National Board of National Action Network. And we rallied that day, No Justice, No Peace, 25 years ago, where a young man went home and police jumped out of the car with him in the vestibule of his own house and said, "Where are you?" He had taken out the key to unlock the door in his vestibule. And they said they thought it was a gun. And they shot at him 41 times, hit him 19 times. And we rallied, we marched, and said justice for Amadou. It changed the culture of this city because people said enough is enough. And I will never forget that we had gotten back, that's when the House of Justice was on Madison for the fire. And we got back and we were organizing for the next rallies for justice. And someone said, turn on the news, and we turned the news on. And they said that the mother of Amadou is coming to the city and that the mayor was going to receive her and take care of her. Mayor Rudy Giuliani. And I remember we said, oh God, Giuliani gonna break up the movement. And I went in the office, I said, well, we did all we could. You know, Giuliani gonna use the family against the community. And I sat there, and about 3 hours later, a man came to the door with Queen Mother Blakely and Sadiq Y and asked to see me. And I remember Queen Mother Blakely, who had been an aide to Queen Mother Moore, who was one of the pioneers of the reparations movement. And I said, okay, let him in. I'm half depressed. And they said, we need you to come with us. I said, come with me where? He says, the mother of Amadou wants to see you. I said, the mother of Amadou, she's with Giuliani. They said, he put her in a hotel on Fifth Avenue, and we told her what was going on in the community. And she said, bring me this reverend. So I got up, we got in the cars, I didn't know what to expect. We got to the door of the hotel, and there were police downstairs. She won't tell this story, but I want you to know her courage. Police, they had a couple policemen downstairs, and they said, where you going? They says, the mother wants to see him, because they didn't want to let me up to see her. And like she wasn't in custody, she's supposed to be your guest. And we got up in the suite that they had provided for her, overlooking Central Park. And she said, Reverend, tell me what it is that you all are attempting to do. And I told her, all we want to do is fight for justice for Amadou, and that Amadou should not have been shot at 41 times. And I gave her a little of the history of what was going on in the city. And we're sitting in the living room of her suite. And as we talked for about 20 minutes, she said, pardon me 1 minute. And she went in the bedroom, and she came back with a suitcase. And she said, let's go. And I said, let's go where? She says, I'm going with you. I won't stay with the mayor. And we went downstairs and got in the car, and I'm on the cell phone calling everybody saying, find me a hotel with a suite. Because the mother has left, and I ain't got nowhere to take her. And we found a suite at the Regal Royal Hotel and checked her in, and she stayed there for many weeks through the funeral and all till she went back to Guinea, and some of our businessmen supported her staying there. She could have stood and sold out Amadou to Giuliani. She stood up for Amadou. She stood up for all of us. She stood up for justice. And because she stood up, it started a movement. We decided to go with her to Guinea for the burial of Amadou. We all flew over. And when we landed in Conakry, there were hundreds at the airport welcoming Amadou home. And then we took him out the next day, about a 2-hour drive. And you know, in those days, the roads in Guinea were not paved. And we were bumping and bumping. And we finally got out, and we went to the burial site. The women stayed back, as was the custom. And when one of the reporters said to me, some of the New York press had flown out all the way to Africa for the burial. And one of the reporters said to me, can we get an interview with Mrs. Diallo, because we are flying into Ghana so we can put it on the news tonight. And I said, y'all flying into Ghana, how y'all gonna do it? We way out here, 2 hours from Conakry. Ain't no airports out here. They said, no, we have a private plane that's gonna take us over to Accra, Ghana, so we can get on the news feed. I said, how many seats y'all got on that plane? And they told me, I said, if I ask her to do an interview, will y'all let me ride with y'all back to Ghana so I can get out of here and not have to ride the 2 hours back to Conakry? And they said, sure. I went in where the women were. I said, Miss Diallo, I have not asked you for any favors, but I would ask you just do this one interview, because they're going to let me go back with them and I ain't got to ride all the way back to Conakry. And she smiled and said, okay, Reverend, and gave the interview. And she stopped me on the way out. She says, as you go back to the States, she says, I know y'all have called for justice. Whatever you do, do not connect Amadou with any violence and any behavior that he would not have wanted. But don't you stop fighting for justice. And I never forget Reverend Wyatt T. Walker, who had been the executive director of Martin Luther King and was chaired our board of National Action Network. He and our present chairman, Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, had decided we were going to go downtown and Wall Street area and sit in on Wall Street in the name of Amadou. We called a march. We had the pictures. And about 5,000 people met us on Wall Street. And Reverend Herbert Daughtry and Wyatt T. Walker and Richardson and Charles Barron, all of us was arrested that day. And while we were in the police van, Reverend Daughtry and Charles said, we need to try to do this every day somewhere like they do the South Africa thing. And at that time, Randall Robinson was having daily vigils at the South African Embassy against apartheid. And they said, we don't know where to go, but we need to do it every day. And I said, well, let's do it at one police plaza. And we started the next day going in front of one police plaza, taking a knee. This way before Colin Kaepernick. This is in 1999. The first day, 9 of us got arrested. Second day, about 30. And then it grew and grew to about every day. We had up to 200 going a day. One day it was entertainers. Ossie Davis went to jail. Ruby Dee went to jail. Suzanne Sarandon, the actress who had won an Oscar, went to jail. One day, they Jewish leaders came and went to jail. And then I got a call one day, Charlie Rangel said, y'all need a little help on that. I'm going to go. And he and former Mayor David Dinkins went and took a knee in front of one police plaza for Amadou. There's never been a movement like that in the North like that than them 13 days that people went to jail for Amadou Diallo. And the person that was handling all of that never let me forget it, that had to get hundreds out of jail every day, was Attorney Michael Hardy. Hardy said, Reverend, you got to cut it off at 300 a day. I said, well, my job is to get them in jail. Your job is to get them out. And Ms. Diallo never left the struggle. 25 years later, she's built a foundation. She's built all kinds of initiatives in the name of Amadou. She could have went back to Guinea and just tried to do whatever settlement the city gave her, but she stays right here in the fight. And she goes back and forth. She's building something in Africa and builds her foundation here. And we are with her today like we were 25 years ago. She started this foundation to help young people get what her son didn't live to get. And that was, he came here for a better life, for education. And she said, I want, in his name, to help youngsters get what Amadou did not get. She formed a foundation. David Dinkins was on the board. I was on the board. Kathy was on the board. And we committed to that foundation, and we still are. So I want her to know 25 years later, National Action Network, Ms. Diallo, wants to give you a check for $10,000. Come on, give a hand. Amadou Diallo Foundation. We support the foundation and do every year. And I told her I don't care if I got to sell hot dogs and Hardy got to sell sauerkraut. We're going to give at least $10,000 a year, and we've done it every year, and we're going to keep doing it. Because Amadou represented, when they write history, Amadou was as important to the Northern movement that went national. You got to remember, in '99, everybody wasn't fighting police brutality. It was only some grassroots groups that would fight it. The big national organizations felt that was just, well, that's them. We're dealing with bigger issues. We made it a bigger issue. And we made it a frontline issue. And that is why from Abner Louima, 97, to Amadou in 99, all of the national groups had to start dealing with police reform. And I remember when Bill Clinton was president, and he finally had to deal with Amadou. And in 2000, a lot of y'all don't know this history. In 2000, we called a march on Washington because in '99, Mrs. Coretta Scott King came to New York to National Action Network's first Keepers of the Dream dinner. In fact, this year will be the 25th dinner, kicking off our convention. And Mrs. King met Mrs. Diallo. And we called that march in Washington, and Janet Reno met with us, and we started talking about justice and federal legislation terrors as late as then. And he called a meeting of law enforcement and some of those that were in some of these organizations in Washington. And he invited me to come when he was president. And I brought Miss Diallo. And they said she wasn't on the list. I said, but she's the agenda. And Clinton let her in, and we met with all of these people. This began the policy change of policing in this country around Diallo. We could not have done it, though, if this one brave, courageous African woman had stayed with Giuliani. She stayed with justice, and that's why we'll always stay with her. I don't want to have to tell her. We talked in the back. I didn't bring it up, but I can't resist. The Brooklyn in me says, look at where we are now and look at where Giuliani is, Miss Diallo. I just had to put that in. I looked the other day, they talking about all this money they're going to put on Trump and Giuliani. And every Saturday when I walk out there and see Carrie Weiss, stand up, Carrie Weiss, one of the Central Park Five, there is a God if you keep fighting and keep standing up. And some of them, I'm looking out there, I see Brother Witherspoon in the house who did investigating on a lot of this. Stand up, Brother Witherspoon. He's one of our best investigators. Now, I don't understand how, I've known Witherspoon at least 25 years, and he got the same dreadlocks that have not gone gray in 25 years. I got the same hairstyle, but it's gray now. I got to figure this thing out. Let me also say that this week I went to Dallas where I keynoted the inauguration of the new president of Rainbow Push, Reverend Freddie Haynes, who was on the board of National Action Network. And he's now the president. Reverend Jackson asked me to come, and since I was a student of Reverend Jackson and started NAN after I learned how to be an activist in Operation Breadbasket. And one of the things that my challenge was in my keynote address in Dallas is that it is not enough to remember Black history if you're not going to take what you learned from Black history and make some Black history. Not enough to know that we were great engineers and scientists and thinkers and builders and academics if we're not going to be that now. And that's why I like the Reverend's message this morning. We act like the struggle is over. We act like we have arrived. And that's why every once in a while, a Bill Ackman will come along and God will allow it to remind us that you're not finished struggling yet. I was reading in the Bible, when y'all get home, read Exodus 13th chapter, where Moses said to the children of Israel, remember this day. Remember this day. The God that brought you out of bondage. And too many of us have this attitude, this misnomer, that we are where we are because of our background, our skills, our education, our connection. You knew somebody. I don't care who you knew. It was against the law for you to be where you are now if people hadn't fought and struggled to get you there. I'm the senior vice president at my job. You wouldn't have had a job if it wasn't some unemployed folks fought and made these companies open the door. That's what they're trying to stop with DEI now. They're trying to close the doors back because you don't remember the days that you had to fight to get there. And they never stopped fighting back. If you look at our history, every step forward, they fought back. Like I said earlier, they didn't even incorporate the country. 1776. I was in Philly the other day, yesterday, during Paula's funeral, and I was telling them, they got the country, they met in 1776, did the Constitution and after that. But we'd been here since 1619. Before they could decide on the Bill of Rights, they decided to enslave us. Before they could have the articles of the Constitution, they had the plantations to put us. We were put on blocks on Wall Street and sold like a bar of soap. Put in the Constitution, we were 3/5 of a man. And we have fought, and every time we fought, they fought back. This fight around DEI is still a fight back against progress. They wouldn't be fighting us if they did not know we were going to continue to fight back. You running around here with them saying DEI is going to close, and DEI stands diversity, equity, and inclusion. Many of you are working at jobs now, whether you know it or not, that are watching us or that, and I'm going to deal with this on Politics Nation tonight, 5 o'clock, MSNBC. Y'all be at the mural, have your cell phone out and watch the show. They will take data on how many blacks, how many Latinos, how many women are working here. That's diversity. The minute they don't have to take the data to show fairness, they will start laying y'all off because they didn't want you there in the first place. And organizations like National Action Network can't come and ask them for data because they won't have the data. So when we talk about standing up to Ackman and those that want to stop DEI, we talking about saving your job, saving your contract. Reverend, they ain't gonna do that. They just voted in the stacked Supreme Court to end affirmative action. Don't tell me what they won't do. They just made affirmative action against the constitutional law of today. How did they get it? They had a 5-4 Supreme Court. How did they get the 5? 3 of them was appointed by Donald Trump. So all of y'all running around talking about, I ain't voting, ain't no difference between Hillary and Trump. Hillary wouldn't have put them 3 on the Supreme Court. All of y'all that ain't voting, you're voting for Trump. Everybody that don't vote is a vote against your interests. Trump ain't bashful. He telling y'all what he'll do. And you sitting up talking about, well, I ain't turned on. Anybody asking you to go out on a date? We asking you to vote. Just something about Biden don't turn me on. Biden got a wife. Biden ain't got to turn you on. Your interests ought to turn you out. I mean, we get all off into this. We have cheapened politics so till we act like this is some entertainment. Who got to turn you on? Who got to do this and that? More y'all interested in is Taylor Swift going to make the Super Bowl rather than are you going to be able to vote? I mean, Taylor Swift all right with me, but if she don't make the Super Bowl, I'll still be all right. But the whole level of services in our community will change if we don't vote. Know what's important. Have your priorities set. I remember in 1972, first year I was old enough to vote, they had changed the voting age from 21 to 18. And I was youth director for Shirley Chisholm's campaign for president. I couldn't vote for her in the primary because I wasn't going to be 18 to October. So I can vote in the general, and she didn't win the primary. And I never forget the pride I had voting that first time. It was Euban Humphrey against Nixon. And what made me proud, y'all need to get this for Black History Month, is that my mother said that when I was 18 in Alabama, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, but Mama was from Alabama. She said, I couldn't dream of the day we could vote. Wow. I'm talking about one generation later. She went from not being able to vote in Alabama to having 2 kids in Brooklyn. And not only watch me vote, but watch me run for president of the United States. That's a continuity of struggle. So if that generation, this is my challenge, if that generation could bring us from the back of the bus to Obama in the White House, then what is this generation sitting around talking about? What is the outcome, the product of this generation? Yes, the generation ahead of us set us up to be powerful in various places of government and industry, entertainment, and we got you there. What have you done with where we put you? You got big job and don't do anything for the community. Got a big title and forgot how you got the title. Hold big political office and don't stand up for the rights of the people that put you in office. Big entertainer, and you run around with 40 diamond necklaces, calling women hoes and bees, and calling your people ends, and we put you up there on that stage. What will be the containing factors that we can come together on that history will say this was a generation that moved us forward? Most of us have not done anything that moves black history any further. I remember growing up in Washington Temple in Brooklyn. All of the great churches, all the great pastors at that time lived right near each other on President Street. Gardner Taylor lived on the corner. President Kingston, Bishop Washington, my pastor, lived across the street. Sandy Ray, Cornerstone, lived down the block. Reverend William Jones in the next block. And all of them controlled these big churches. Now, we don't even have the great preachers of our day communicate with each other. We're too busy competing with each other. How many of you had at church today? Taking attendance on crowds rather than dealing with what you're doing for those in the crowd. Bible said, let the servant is the greatest among you. I mean, I never understood that. Preachers call each other Sunday night. How many of you had this morning, Doc? Well, I had about 1,500. How you have 1,500 and ain't got but 300 chairs? And I had about 10 join the church. Well, what did they join? You entertaining them on Sunday? Getting up showing how well you can holler, but ain't saying nothing. And when church is over, you ain't gonna do nothing. Rem, I got a problem. Well, go over there to the network, see Sharpton and them. We just praising God here. I praise God over here by serving God's people. Feeding the hungry is serving God. Fighting for those that ought not be incarcerated is serving God. Standing up against unjust laws is serving God. Standing up for the forgotten and the begotten that you didn't have time for, like Brother Nolan, that's serving God. I'm serving God all the time. That's our history. And that's why as we go through Black History Month, yeah, we're going to have seminars and all of that, auxiliaries, but I want the theme to be, we're going to make history. Our convention, April 10th through 13th, y'all watching should go to the website, nationalactionnetwork.net, sign up now. We are going to be plotting on what we're going to do in 24. We are not going to let them turn back the things that we have achieved. We're going to fight for DEI. We're going to fight against these voting rights impediments. We're going to make history and have a national gathering that's free of charge. We are not going to sit around talking about how old Biden is. Something older than Biden is our history. We've been here 400 years. Biden might be 82 years old. We 400 years old. And we want to collect on what this country owes us. The need to continue to struggle, the need to stand up and fight back could never be more graphic than now. You got people sitting up in the Congress that won't even pass a border bill because Donald Trump told them don't pass it. And I need to have something good to run against Biden on. We've not seen anything as openly hostile and crooked as Donald Trump. I mean, 4 indictments, 91 felonies. And you talking about, well, you know, I maybe go for Trump. Now, Biden got on my radio show and went through everything. I gave $7 billion to black colleges. I made sure, Al, that y'all got what you wanted us to do out of the infrastructure bill, out of the inflation reduction bill. He went categorically on what blacks got since he was president. I said, on all that's good and we want a lot more. Now tell me what Trump gave us. He pardoned 2 or 3 rappers. All right, maybe they was in jail wrong, but that does not address health care and housing and black colleges and infrastructure. He ain't done none of that. And the thing that gets me more concerned than anything is when I hear folks trying to go for somebody that has not even told you he gonna do something for you. Trump ain't promised black folks nothing. You know, like when I was in Tilton High School, Gwen Carr, there was a girl just kept telling everybody, I'm not going with any of y'all to the prom. Just kept, I'm not going to the prom with any of y'all. And it occurred to me, ain't none of us asked you to go to the prom with us. I said to all the guys, did you ask her? No, you asked. I went around, well, how you turning down a date ain't nobody offered you? You run around talking about, I'm trying to make up my mind between Trump and Biden. Trump ain't asked you to come with him. He ain't promised you nothing. He ain't courting you about nothing. His background in the black community is calling for that young man, 5 of them, to go and be given an execution for a crime they didn't commit. He was sued for discrimination in his own buildings that he owned. And you acting like you got a choice. Your choice is whether you gonna stand up for yourself or not. That's your choice. Have some self-respect. Not about Democrat or Republican. It's about standing up for yourself. And folk did not go and lay down in the gutters of Birmingham and lay down in the gutters of Selma, get tear gassed and beaten on the Edmund Pettus Bridge for you to be sitting up playing these cute games now. You got the right to vote because people suffered. And for you to bargain away that vote because you like somebody that gave some rappers a pardon or that you say got swagger, whatever that is. He got swagger. What is that? And then, well, everybody got swagger at a certain age. Till you get old enough and your swagger turn into your sagger. You went from swagging to sagging. I want us to organize like we never did before. The whole world erupted when they killed his brother, stand up, Terrence Floyd, brother George Floyd. The whole world erupted. They made all kind of promises in 2020. We are 4 years later, just in the second month, and the same companies that promised things in the name of George Floyd are now fighting DEA. That's why we're fighting them. Same companies that's fighting DEI, that are fighting DEI were the ones that stood up in the name of George Floyd. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. In the name of George Floyd, we're going to represent this and represent that. And 2 years later, they started backing up. Now, 4 years later, they are not doing what they said they would do. And we need to go after all of them as we fight for this. They cannot be allowed to just hustle George Floyd's name, or Amadou Diallo's name, or Eric Gardner's name. And that's what they've done, because we allowed it. That's what they've done because we have been the ones that have said it's all right, rabbit hunting, rather than being bears. One of the things that we've done in Black history, I remember that when I was a youngster, Queen Mother Moore, the mentor of Queen Mother Blake, was talking about reparations. People said that never happened. They're never even going to look at reparations. But I lived long enough to see a white woman from Western New York, governor of the state, sign in the law a reparations commission. I bring you the governor of the state of New York on Black History Month, Governor Kathy Hochul. The governor said, you kicking off Black History Month on your Saturday rally? She said, well, I'm coming by and drop by. I said, well, you made some history for us when you signed that commission. She said, well, I got other things I'm going to do too. I said, well, you be at the House of Justice. We're going to keep the radio live and the TV live. I bring you a history maker, Governor Kathy Hochul.
Good morning. It is great to be back in the House of Justice. Proud to be here with Reverend Al and so many leaders in the civil rights movement and the mothers of the movement and everyone who channeled the pain that they've had to go through into a force for good, to say never again. And that's the premise behind signing the reparations study. And now is the perfect time. We talk about Black history. Black history is not since the 1960s. It goes back to the 1600s. Way back, when people were brought over here, not in first class, not even in below the deck, but brought over in steerage and chained and starving and loss of life on the journey over to find not a better world, but a world that oppressed them. And not just during the era of slavery, but then Jim Crow and all the redlining and the communities that he were relegated to that we still have today. We still have segregated cities where the black populations are in those that are environmentally toxic. All the little children getting asthma because they're living in an area where someone decides better put a highway through there than to let those trees stay and let those kids have a playground. So we are here to say no more. No more. History is changing. We are changing history every single day. And it starts with a decision to say, just as Frederick Douglass did in 1847, when he said, I'm going to hold up the specter of what slavery is all about to America and see whether they're true patriots who will stand up and condemn it. So where are the Frederick Douglasses of today? They're right here with me. They're right here with Reverend Al and what he has done. All of you stand up and say, we're not satisfied, because Dr. King says, yes, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. But I've got to tell you something else. It doesn't bend by itself. No, it takes people and a movement and a concerted effort to say, we are going to bend it together. And that is my hope of this commission, to gather smart, committed people. We'll be announcing their names in a couple of days, to come together and talk about this. Have the conversations that are not easy, my friends, but they're necessary to move this country forward. And that's why we're doing it right here in the great state of New York. And we're also going to tackle some other issues. The fact that more babies and moms are dying in black communities at a higher rate than any other population. What is going on here? When women are afraid to get pregnant because it might be a death sentence for them. We have to stop that. And in my budget, I announced more programs, more funding, more effort to say, these women and babies deserve to live. Let's keep them alive. But where are they going to live? They have to have a house they can afford. Now, nobody seems to want to talk about building more housing. I don't know why, but I need to harness the power in this room and on these streets to say to our elected officials, work with the governor. She's just trying to give people the dignity of a home. Come on, what's so hard about that? Let's build more housing that's affordable. Let's take care of our senior citizens. Let people who have substance abuse problems and mental health problems get supportive housing and have people take care of them and help them be okay. And I also want to talk about clean slate for 1 minute. When we signed that clean slate bill together, just in November, after years of talking about it, I got encountered by a Republican senator upstate. He says, oh, Governor, you just made this state less safe now. You're having all these criminals in jobs. And I said, okay, let me explain something called the facts to you. I know you're not used to this, but let's talk about the facts. These people paid their debt to society. They're done, okay? You did what you're supposed to do. And I said to this senator, I think the best crime fighting strategy is a job. You give people the chance to get welcomed back, give them the decency of a job, let them provide for themselves and their families, and they don't have to go back to the streets. It's just common sense. Just common sense. So these are some of the areas we're focused on, in housing and healthcare outcomes, making sure they're better for our people, and saying, yes, you deserve to have a good job, and correcting the wrongs of the fact we're going to change the Cross Bronx Expressway and say, why did you sever this community? We're doing it in Buffalo and Syracuse, other places where they build highways to get people out of the cities faster and into the suburbs. This was Robert Moses' idea, okay? Okay, no more. No more. We're tearing down those roads all over. We're building bridges to communities like this. And I will tell you, as long as I have a breath in my body, I'll continue the march that my parents started back in the 60s, because they marched and told us about Dr. King when we were little kids up in Buffalo. And I'll tell you, it wasn't popular. My parents were those social justice Catholics, the ones that kind of get into a lot of trouble. And they dragged their kids along with them. We protested the Vietnam War. In 5th grade, I'm wearing a black armband, okay? That's all right. My parents were part of an effort to integrate our white, blue-collar suburb. And for their efforts, there was a lot of negativity, a lot of hatred. Someone spit on my mother in the back of our church when she was handing out literature. She was in her 20s. And they went and comforted one of the few families that they brought in who had had a cross burned on their lawn. They brought them to our house and hugged them. I remember this just like it was yesterday. And back then, my dad, he was 25 years old, 30 years old, working on this cause. He did a survey of all the people in the community. Are you willing to accept someone who's of color, a black person, into your neighborhood? Now, the numbers were not good. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't want to know what they were. But what the other question on this survey was, how many more years before you think America's fully integrated? Blacks and whites living together, same opportunities, having the same possibility to live the American dream. How many more years? And this community said, within 10 years, that'll happen. That would have been 1975. So the arc, justice, it does bend toward justice, the arc of the universe, but it's not bending fast enough for this governor. Okay, so let's bend it a lot sooner than that. This should be a different America, should be a different state. And I thank all of you, I thank NAN, I thank Reverend Al for being part of the journey to move history forward. Thank you very much, everyone.
See you in a minute. Governor Kathy Hochul, give her a hand. Give her a big hand. Black History Month. I couldn't think of a better way to start off Black History Month than to have the governor that gave us the reparations commission and the clean slate to come by the House of Justice. That's why you ought to be every Saturday morning. You never know what we're going to do up in here. We've been struggling 33 years, and we're going to keep struggling because I don't feel no ways tired. When I think about how we got started, think about we didn't have, when we walked out the slave theater and came up here, Jordan Wright, stand up, Jordan Wright. I think I saw my man Jordan come in. When we came here and started in Harlem, we never thought we'd be able to change laws and be able to get governors and presidents. But if you keep on fighting, if you don't get tired, you can make a difference. I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, but I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me now.
I don't feel no waste time. Come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
Oh, yeah. I don't feel no ways hurt. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me.
I don't feel no waste time. I've come too far from where I started. I'm started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far. I don't believe he's brought me this far.
I don't believe it. Hey, I can't give up now. I don't believe it. God has been too good to me. Yes, yes. I can't give up. I don't
Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Sing it for justice. Sing it for freedom. Everybody's singing. Yeah. I'm opening the doors of the movement. There may be someone here today that never joined National Action Network. You may hear us on the radio, see us on television, but never became a member of the organization. There couldn't be a better day than the first Saturday of Black History Month 2024 than to come down and join right now. All you got to do is come down either aisle, come to me, and we'll sign you up right now. Come on. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody now. Everybody now. Everybody now. One last time, y'all. One last time, y'all. One last time, y'all. All right. We're moving quickly, gonna raise our offering, shake hands, and move on. I want to say how proud we was. Saw several come forward, and I saw Kerry Weiss come forward, and I know he's been a member, but he said, no, I came to bring you, I'm paying my lifetime members today. Kerry Weiss paying his lifetime membership. All right. He never stops surprising us. You never know what Kerry Weiss gonna do. All right. I need to raise our offering quickly. I need about 10 people that can give $100 or more to come quickly. 10 people. Guardians, $100.